we were just like three girls who found like Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like an announce saying like we're looking for people who wants to become like idols or VTubers or cosplayers. Everything is so short. Like you just have to enjoy the moment. And the first thing they look for is being cute. I was always compared to people. When you get to know them, of course, some of them are like this. But I mean, it's the same everywhere, you know? Even Lady Gaga, she's gonna have like pretty fans. Like, it's everywhere.
Hey, welcome back to Tokyo State of Mind, a podcast that is full of passionate people and talks to make you feel good about yourself and your life in Japan. Today's guest is a very vibrant girl from France who is a former member of an idol group Doremi, a girl who studies at professional school dance and vocals here in Tokyo. Simply a very nice person to talk to, Laura Hammoudi. Hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. I still remember how we met for the first time, like back in March when the Corona
Was
thing just started, right?
it in March
Yeah,
already?
that was back in March, and you had pink hair at the time.
Wow. Yep.
So yeah, I was really surprised like to learn that what you're doing here like is you were that at the time with your friend, and you told me that
Hmm.
you guys both are idols, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
it's so rare like for me to hear about foreign idols here in Japan, and I'm pretty sure that there are so many people who are like aspired to come to Japan, just like as I told you before, like not there are a lot of people who come to Japan to become scientists, to become
Hmm.
men, but um, I think there are also people who are in love with like J-pop, with dancing and singing,
Hmm.
but they're not familiar like with what it's like. How is it possible to come here to be an
Yeah.
artist, and what kind of challenges and what kind of like rewarding experiences you have here. So I'm
Hmm.
very pumped to learn about it myself also, because yeah, it's so interesting. So first of all, can you tell please what brings you to Japan in the first place?
Well, the thing is, I've been interested in Japan since I'm very little. I think the first time I heard about Japan, I was like 7. I
Hmm.
mean, heard about the culture, and I just fell in love with it, and it was just like in my mind all the time. Then I discovered Japan through internet and through dance covers. How is it called? Odotte mita? Like
Ah,
those kind of
yeah,
videos on YouTube.
yeah. Hmm.
And I took part in this kind of word since I was like 12. And my goal was just to go to Japan and become an artist there, especially an idol. I already had a crush on idols when I was little.
Oh, who was your favorite
Yeah.
idol?
Oh my God. Started like very first music I heard was Matsuraya
Hmm.
from Hello Project.
Oh, I heard about Hello Project, but not really familiar with their music.
Yeah, well, I was in love with the Hello Project more than AKB48 and everything. I never really had interested in them. More like Hello Project, like Morning Musume, Kyoto, Berizukovo, all
Mm,
those groups.
I see, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I studied a little bit dance in France, and when I got my degree, I went to Japan to study dance.
And did you come like through the special training or scholarship program? How did you make it happen?
Ah, well, no, I just looked it up on the internet and I decided to like drop everything, like just drop everything, go to Japan, study Japanese and until I get my certificate and then go to the dance school that I found on the internet. Like,
Wow.
I think the first time I found it, I was like 16,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, that's my dream school. I want to go there.
Nice.
And yeah,
And
it
probably
took
that
me a while to get in.
I can see that because like yeah, it's definitely not a very easy way, especially like if you start
Hmm.
off not no speaking the language, right?
Yeah, that was a big problem.
I see. So,
Mm.
since you came here, like, what do you think was like different from what you have imagined about your life in Japan?
Uh, well, it took me a little while to realize because, of course, like, when it's your dream to go to Japan, you only see like the bright side, especially if you stay here only for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you stay in the country, the more you notice that, well, they also have their problems. Like there are some things that are just not good, like main densha, like the
Yeah,
rush hours in the train,
yeah, so true.
where everyone is packed. Especially in those time, it's just like so scary. Those kind of things. But I still love the country more than I love my own country.
Um, what do you think makes Japan like the best place for your passions for dancing and singing?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, first, I'm gonna talk about idols, of course, but they don't really have this in other countries. I mean, they have K-pop, but it's still like a different universe, like different
Yeah.
style and everything. So, and they're more like open-minded about it. I don't know how to say it. Like, they won't judge you because you do that kind of dance,
Mm-hmm.
and they love to see new things also.
Mm-hmm.
So, I felt like I would be happier to do dance in Japan than France. Because like in France we're more like contemporary dance, modern dance, and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you do hip hop, like you're not a dancer. When
What?
actually in Japan it's the contrary. Like if you do hip hop, you're a goddess. So
That's so cool. Yeah.
yeah, it is.
I can definitely see, even like in Todai, in front of the building where
Hmm.
we do the Aikido, there are a lot of like dance clubs, and most of them are
Hmm.
doing hip hop.
Yeah, like almost all of my classes are hip hop, freestyle. Yeah, so that's great.
What do you think is the most like challenging part of being at the dance school?
Mm, well, I just noticed it like because it's my second year. First year it was fine, but second year is like we have to do all kinds of dances, like tap dance, ballet, hip hop, jazz, everything. So this is very challenging, especially because we have like huge busy days. Like before coronavirus, we would do like 9 a.m., 8 p.m. every day
Wow,
with no breaks or maybe 1 hour break in the day.
I see.
We would, yeah, we would also train on weekends, and sometimes it's not enough to finish the program. So, for example, this week I had to do like two all-nighters. Like
Mm-hmm.
we danced from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very challenging, like finding a balance between school and your life.
Mm-hmm. And probably other side projects which you did, right? Like away
Yeah,
from
like the
school.
idol group. Yeah.
I see. So um, right now during Corona, how do you guys manage like the whole thing? Because I think
Oh.
there is like I don't know how about dance schools, but for Aikido, for example, what happens
Mm-hmm.
is that we go the gym where we're going there are a lot of like strict rules. You have to wear mask. Only like certain amount of people can come in. There's a lot of checking and control. Like how does of Corona affect your life like as a dancer?
Oh, it's very tough because first of all, we need to bring our own like alcohol spray with us
Hmm.
everywhere we go. Like when we arrive at school, they have like a camera that checks your temperature.
Hmm.
When you enter the school, you have to write like the hour, your name, your class, your temperature. And every time you go out of the school, when you come back, you have to do this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's if you go out every 30 minutes, you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And because my school is in Shibuya, like the buildings are like very
Yeah.
high.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we have like 11 floors. And there is an elevator, but we can only be like four people
I see. So a lot
in
of
the elevator.
restrictions.
Yeah, and no talking, no eating. We have to keep our mask all the time. If we want to eat, we have to go on the rooftop. But because we're a lot of students, we have to wait for people to
Mm-hmm.
finish eating. Those kind of things. We have to keep the doors open. We don't touch the doors. Um, Even if it's like very cold outside, we have to get the windows open, the fans going on. It's very tough. We have stickers on the ground
Yep.
that says here, like 2 meters from each other's, and we have to dance with masks. So, which results in a lot of how do you say kizetsu,
Mm.
like fainting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
And
can
when we
imagine.
sing, yeah, when we sing, it's mask and face shield, both.
And how do you guys perform with all this craze?
Well, we had one performance, so that's why I had the pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we have to keep the mask during the rehearsal, but when we're on stage,
Mm-hmm.
we can take off the masks because we're gonna be like far from each other. But the next one we have, we're not allowed to take off the masks. We have to perform with it. So we need like very oshare masks, like very fancy masks, sparkling ones.
For the performance, especially.
Yeah, no choice.
How hard do you think it's to get in school like that? Like, what do you think are the main points and requirements like that people are looking for getting in the art school?
Art school. Uh, well, what kind of arts? Because me for dance and vocal, it was like very tough. We had auditions,
Mm-hmm.
but my friends who went to like a design school, it wasn't that tough on them as long as they had like the GLPT or
Mm.
EGU, like the Nihongo
Yeah.
Yuga Kushike,
Mm-hmm.
like N2 is the bare minimum you need to have to enter. And the thing that they check the most, besides being a good dancer, like you don't have to be a good dancer to enter the school or being good at arts. I mean, it's a school, we are here to learn.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like don't worry about this, first of all. And they really check like your how determined you are to enter the school and how majime, how serious you are about it, and also your attendance in
Mm-hmm.
class is more important than the grades, actually.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow. Such a
So,
different
mhm.
aspect.
Yeah, so we have to be very careful about that.
Apart from like classes and like um yeah, apart from classes that you get at the school, do you think like you get a good like moral like support from your senseis like and people around? How does the like social dynamics go?
えーっと、my teachers are very supportive. Uh, I mean, the first year, they didn't really know how to handle like foreigners because I'm the only foreigner in the school.
What? Really? I thought
Yeah, I
the
mean,
girls from
there are
your group
two
also were.
Koreans.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. I thought the girls from your group also were from the same school or something.
Oh, no, 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 no. They are working in Japan.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the only student.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, they didn't really know how to handle. Like they have Korean people, but they never had like non-Asian people in
Hmm.
the dance section. So they were a little bit confused, like should we be more gentle with her? Should we be this way with her? But
Mhm.
is it gonna be like disrespectful? Like they were a little bit like this,
Mm-hmm.
but now they found a balance, so it's nice. The people in my school, like the classmates, they are nice, but I don't have any friends there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more like good, yeah, people.
I see, I see. Yeah, I think like definitely like when you are the only foreigner, it can be like not the only foreigner, but like when you're in a very in quite a minority, it,
Hmm.
it's challenging to like I think a lot of people might have this idea that we really don't know how to treat you basically. Like
Exactly.
they're
And also,
confused.
yeah, like when they see you, they're like, wow, a foreigner. Like,
Yep.
first they ask you always, like, where are you from? You know? And then they're gonna be like, oh, your Japanese is so good.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And they just lose interest in you unless like you try to make the first step toward them,
Hmm.
which I didn't do, which is why I don't have friends. But yeah. Also there is an age gap between me and the classmates.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
You're 25 right now?
23.
23. Okay. And most
Mm.
of your classmates are younger?
Yeah, by 2 or 3 years, but
Mm.
it's already like quite big.
Wow.
Mm. Yeah, because they're all into like K-pop,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I'm just not interested in it at all. I used to be, but not anymore.
Hmm.
So they talk about this all the time, and I'm just like so lost.
I can relate to that. Like
Yeah.
when I teach to high school girls and they talk about
Hmm.
K-pop, I'm like, I used to be into that like couple of years
Yeah.
ago, like, but
Yeah,
now it's just
teen
like,
top.
yeah, yeah, like it's like zero interest.
Hmm. Yeah.
I can imagine. So, but
So yeah, that's a little bit complicated.
got it. Yeah, I also hear a lot like about people's problems like making friends with
Yeah.
Japanese classmates
Hmm.
because of the age gap and the interest. But I think you're
Hmm.
quite like well settled, like looking at your like social media about like how many people were supporting your idol journey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell more about it?
Well, where should I start? Like there's so many things to say about the idol group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where to start basically. How we met maybe. So we were just like three girls who found like Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like an announce saying like we're looking for people who wants to become like idols or VTubers or cosplayers. And we all passed the audition and we all got chosen with five other girls, I think. And in the end, the agency was just like not good. Yeah, they just wanted us to be VTuber. So I was like, no, I want to be an idol. So
Nice.
and these two girls too. So we just like quit the agency and we became like a self-produced idol group.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to be the leader, but I gave the leadership to another member because I didn't feel confident enough for having so many responsibilities. And also my Japanese not being that good.
And so like through this journey, what do you
Mm.
think were like the lessons, the greatest lesson that you've learned?
Uh, that's a hard one. Um, I learned that everything is, how can I say? Everything is so short. Like, you just have to enjoy the moment
Mm-hmm.
because nothing lasts. And yeah, even if you don't do your best, as long as you make people smile and you make people happy, it's all that matters. And we shouldn't be so harsh on ourselves. We shouldn't be so hard. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's very profound. Definitely can relate to that. So, for this idle journey, like you were able like to work with this agency, like, and get a grasp of like what kind of requirements they have, like what kind of image that they're expecting, like of you girls, like to push there out in the media. So,
Mm.
can you just share like what have you noticed?
About the agencies,
Yes.
like the thing is, we were self-produced, but we tried really hard to get an agency. And the first thing they look for is being cute. The girl has to be cute.
What does cute mean, like for the Japanese standards?
Like kind of big eyes, very cute smile. Like they don't mind about like, crooked teeth and stuff like that, as long as you're charming.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being beautiful, it's about being charming.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that when you enter an agency, you're just not yourself. You're not allowed to be yourself. Like they choose your character, they choose your uh, member color, they choose your outfits. You don't have a word to say about that.
Wow.
So that can be a little bit dangerous, especially like if you're mentally, you know, weak, if I should say.
Mm-hmm.
That can be very dangerous, actually.
Got it. Like, but also, I also heard like, I don't know how about like J-pop, but like for K-pop industry, for example, what
Mm.
happens a lot is that they also, a lot of agency, they kind of own your life. Like they restrict the people that you can meet. Like a lot of girls and boys, like in that industry, they're not allowed to date. They're not
Mm-hmm.
allowed like to even contact their families sometimes. That's what I heard.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had that case, but definitely, yeah, no boyfriend. Yeah, so no husband, of course. No alcohol, no smoking, no drugs. Um, we're not allowed to have male friends,
Even male
or
friends.
yeah, that's you're not supposed to be seen in public with a male, like with a man.
Okay.
And even some of your female friends, if they tell you like you don't go out with her anymore, then finish.
Wow.
Yeah, because she can give you a bad image or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of agencies actually who warned us about this. And me and the other girls, we were just so shocked. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't think it was like that much.
Mm-hmm.
We knew about the boyfriend stuff, but we didn't know that,
Yeah.
yeah, even being with a guy in the street was not allowed. And last thing they control is our social medias.
Mm-hmm.
So not only the official SNS of the group, but also our personal SNS like Instagram, Twitter. They have access to it, and we're not allowed to DM, like talk in the DM with people.
With your fans and others.
Yeah, even if
Oh,
if it's friends, we're not allowed to.
wow. Now I see why it can be challenging for us, like to also
Hmm.
invite some people for the podcast because their media is controlled.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. But you tell that you guys you were self-produced.
Mm,
So was it by self-produced? What do you mean? Like how? So you didn't have any agency. You could do everything by your own, right?
exactly. So basically, someone came to me randomly, a guy on Facebook. Like we were friends for like several years, but we never talked. He was
Mm-hmm.
Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, I have a friend who's like doing a live. Do you want to perform there? Because I saw that you like dancing and singing. And so I took the opportunity and I took the two girls with me and I was like, let's perform there. Let's try it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we only had two songs back then, or just one song, and we did like two something like that. And from them, we took like a lot of videos and we posted them on Twitter. And then we contacted like, how do you say, not agencies, but like live events.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked them, we showed them the videos and like, hi, we are My Doremi. Do you want us in your life? Please. At first it was like, please. And after a few months, like people were coming for us.
Wow, that's quite a
Yeah.
success. Like you guys were like requested to perform.
Yeah, actually, and before that, like the leader of the group, Alice,
Mm-hmm.
she was in charge of, she was the manager also, like the leader and manager. So she was in charge of booking the events, doing everything. Like she's a superwoman, to be honest. She did a lot.
I know, like, from talking, like, from another girl from a band, rock band here in
Mhm.
Japan.
Oh.
I heard this thing that if you are a performer, unlike other countries, it's not like
Mm.
that the venue is paying you for performing, but you have to pay for the venue.
Yes. Most of the time it's free for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some events, like we have to pay, but then we get the money back from the tickets we sell.
Mm-hmm. So your
But
revenue
usually,
comes from
yeah,
selling tickets.
and goodies like checkies, like pictures or yeah, bracelets or stuff like that.
How does it
Yeah,
feel
but
like?
uh,
How does it feel to sell like the good, the goods of your own pictures and stuff?
uh, I never had a problem with it.
Okay.
It's actually really fun. Like, um, with the fan, like you have to think about like doing a cute pose or you when you do this, from my point of view, you learn how that person is, how your fan is, so you can create more bonds,
Oh,
if I should say. It's very interesting to get to know them more personally.
right. And
Mm.
sometimes I feel like the people that you expect the least to be fans of idol groups, they just come, and it's so nice to see them, right?
Yeah, like one day we had like a very cute girl
Yeah.
coming out of nowhere, a Japanese cute girl,
Hmm.
and she was our biggest fan for like many, many months.
Wow.
And we were not expecting such a cute, tiny little girl to be a fan of us. She would always buy pictures and be at the front of the stage with our light stick.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm. And some fans, like, I don't know if it's the same in Japan, but overseas, we have this image about Japanese idol fans, people, who are like old salarymen who have a weird fetish for young girls. But when you get to know them, of course, some of them are like this, but I mean, it's the same everywhere. Even Lady Gaga, she's gonna have like crazy fans. Like it's everywhere.
Hmm.
But most of the fans, they're just regular people and very nice people and normal. So yeah, when I discovered that, because I was a little bit skeptical about this,
Mm.
and when I discovered that my fans were super nice, I was like, yes, that's cool.
Yeah, you might. I can expect that like a lot of idols might have this very safety concerns
Mm,
when it comes to performing and things. But I think so
yeah,
far Japan is pretty safe for most of this of the part.
yeah, it is pretty safe, but yeah, I never had a problem actually. Sometimes with the girls after live, we were like just too lazy to change our clothes. So we would go back home with our stage outfit
Yeah,
because it looks pretty casual.
yeah.
And we would just like, walk from the live studio to the train. And there were a lot of people who were at the live. And we
Mhm.
were just like, "Otsukaresama desu, arigato." And they never followed us to the station. They never did anything weird. So yeah, it's pretty safe.
That's great to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for the journey that like you had,
Mm.
I'm pretty sure there were things that you figure out like to not to be true, except for like the fans, the story that you're
Mm-hmm.
told right now. So what do you think are the most common things
Sorry.
that people misunderstand about idol life here in Japan?
The most common thing, mm, that it's. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to
Yes.
say that? The biggest misunderstanding, especially for foreigners, is that idols are meant for pedophiles. For me, that's the biggest misunderstanding, and that idols are not having fun. They don't become idols because they want to, but because they're being forced. That's not true.
Hmm.
Yeah. We want to become idols. We're not forced to do anything.
And what do you
And
think
on
is
the contrary, my mother was like, "No, you will never become an idol." I was like, "No, I will."
so but you guys, you had like your performances for a couple of months, and I know that um
Mm,
just like recently you had to quit your idol career to
mm,
prioritize your studies. What do you think
yeah.
like was the major fact for you to do that?
Well, it's because finally my Doremi found an agency
Mm-hmm.
and they had auditions that I couldn't attend because I had school. And we were told like the audition was gonna happen like literally 3 days before the auditions, so I
Yep.
couldn't like just not go to school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, because I didn't go to the auditions, they wouldn't take me. I mean, that's normal, that's common sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the leader, she still tried so hard to get me in the group. And they were still a little bit like, should we get her or not? And the leader was like, yeah, Laura, it's up to you. Do you
Yep.
want to continue or do you want to stop? And actually, because of my schedules, we would fight every month, at least once a month,
Mm-hmm.
because I would not be able to attend a certain live. I would not be able to rehearse as much as I should. I would have to cancel a live. So, yeah, of course, everyone was mad about it. Me first. And I told the leader, like, even if the next month I make sure that I'm going to have time for the idol group, who's going to tell you that in 2 months it's not going to be the same, you know? And I feel like I'm not pushing them to success, you know? I'm like, if I'm in the group, they're just not going to grow as much as if I was not in the group. So I was just like, I think it's better, not only for me, but also for the group if I leave. And now look, they have merch and everything. Yay.
That's great. So you're still
Yeah,
the biggest fan of that group.
of course. Even if they changed their name, now it's Embrace.
Embrace. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still supporting them. Yeah, a lot.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So, right now you're like at your school studying dance and vocals. Like, do you have what are your aspirations once you graduate? Like, do you have a certain
Mm,
like big dream that you are pursuing?
yeah. I mean, my biggest dream was to become an idol, and I kind of succeeded. I mean, we were not like very famous, but it was still like so nice to do it. And now it would be to become an artist, but I don't think I have what it takes to become an artist.
Why so?
And I'm not that good at dancing. I'm not that good at singing. I'm normal. I'm pretty average. So, and
Because
also, have you
yeah,
ever seen like a foreigner artist in Japan that lives in Japan and became like famous in Japan?
well, I definitely don't really know that many people, but
Mm.
I think that it's time for Japan to change.
Maybe I will make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
honestly think. Yeah.
Yeah. But for now, I actually found a work for after my studies. So I'm gonna become like a dance and singing teacher for children.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And if I can live from that, I'll be very happy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Definitely prioritizing happiness over
Yes,
everything.
the most important.
That's great. Also, in your social media, you were super outspoken about mental health issues that you had, like you were dealing with depression here in Japan. And so I hear a lot, like from people living here, how much of a stigma it is still here. And yeah, we're definitely going to have a separate episode for mental issues. But
Yeah.
um, can you just tell like about your journey, like what was going on when you were
Mm.
dealing with depression?
Yeah. The thing is, so I've been diagnosed with depression back in France, actually just before leaving for Japan. But so I had like medicines for a short period of time. And of course, like depression, it's not like a flu, you don't take your
Yeah.
medicines and it goes better. It's just like it's hard to get through it and to get over it. And I've been told to not speak about this in Japan, especially to Japanese people, because it makes you very weak. And so they're going to treat you differently. They're not going to give you as many opportunities as you're supposed to have. So I never really talked about this. But when I saw that a lot of Japanese people or even foreigners living in Japan, they talk a lot recently,
Mm-hmm.
with what happened in America, BLM,
Yep.
they're kind of following it, also like the sexism in Japan and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why should I just be there and shut up? you know,
Yeah.
when I have a voice and I can help people being aware of what depression is. Because I actually have a classmate. She didn't go to school for like half a year now. No, a year and a half. And I found it very strange. And she said, even her, it's so taboo in Japan. She wouldn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
She would just be like, oh, I'm kind of sick. I don't know what I have, but I'm kind of sick. And I just opened to her actually. I said, like you can talk to me. Like we're not close
Mm-hmm.
friends, but
Yeah.
I know it can be tough and you shouldn't be ashamed of feeling sad. So if you want to just grab a coffee and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually talked about it. And she's like, yeah, I am depressed, but I am too scared to tell it. And I'm scared to go to school and people judge me because I can't be me. I can't do 100%.
Wow.
So I told her maybe it's better if she goes to a doctor, to explain it
Mm-hmm.
because maybe she needs some help. Like depression is something to take like very seriously.
Yeah.
Even if you think you can deal it by yourself, most of the time you can't. You need a support. And so she went to the doctor and she contacted me and she said, he he gave me like medicines. And I looked on the internet and it's medicines that you give for horses.
What?
Yeah, like very
Crazy.
strong medicines to make them like more calm.
Oh, I see, I see, I see.
And I look and it says like you can take like from 1 to 3 pills per day. And the doctor told her that she can take up to 6 pills a day. And I got so shocked and I was like, yeah, it's a real problem in Japan. Like they don't know anything about it. They just try to, you know, they don't want to talk about it. They were like, no, it's such a shame. Like we're just gonna give them pills and back
Yeah.
to their home. And I guess that's also why the
Mm-hmm.
suicide rate is quite high in
Yeah.
Japan.
I
And
think,
so,
yeah, definitely. I feel like that also like due to the unique nature of like relationships here in Japan, a lot of
mm,
them like they have to keep their face in front of others, and I
Yeah.
feel like so many suicides could be prevented just by people's at least speaking up to,
Opening.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to someone. And I think as a foreigners here, we have this special card where not only we can be just baka gaikokujin and stuff, but we also can be this gaikokujin, like, or just people who are not Japanese who can, to whom they can come and be more
Hmm.
open. Of course,
Yeah.
that I also have a lot of amazing Japanese friends who I feel that they're super
Hmm.
sensitive about it. They can definitely talk it out loud.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, there are not many people who will do that.
Yeah.
And I definitely have noticed that foreigners here, we have this thing that because we're foreigners and they might think, oh, like they they are not gonna judge us, so they can
Hmm.
come up and speak up about their problems so easily. But I think
Hmm.
it definitely should change. I mean, it shouldn't be like, oh, we can only speak to foreigners. We can,
Yeah. We
they
should be
should,
able to speak to everyone
yeah, to
about it.
everyone, like, and to the
Hmm.
families.
Yeah. But that's always what I uh, come up with
Yeah,
when I tell people, like, you can speak to me. At least if you don't want to speak to anyone, just talk to me. Because in Europe, it's normal. It's in the culture to talk about it. So even if
yeah,
it's not your culture, I will never be Japanese, and you know it. And so I offer you my help.
yeah,
And if we have to go through this to make it step by step for Japanese people to understand that it's okay, then we have to go through this. It's the same with racism.
yeah. But I think also what happens with depression in a lot of ways is that even if you come from an outspoken culture, it doesn't help that much. So
Mhm.
you still go through a lot of things. So what do you
Of
think
course.
your depression was related to? What do you think were like the certain thoughts that you had to fight with?
Um, I can't really go into details, but my childhood, I mean, I had a great childhood. That's not the problem. Like, but certain people during my childhood, um, also during high school, I had like bullies, like people bullying
Yeah.
me. I was always compared to people. Like, the thing is, when I was a child, they would be like, Laura, you're so intelligent, you're so beautiful. And I realized with the time that I was not as intelligent and as beautiful as what I've been told, like I'm human.
Hmm.
And because people kept like giving me pressure about, we already told you you're intelligent, you have to be good in class, you have to do this, you have to be this,
Yeah,
is just too much,
I can
especially when
see.
you're a
Yeah.
teenager. And
Yeah.
being compared to people all the time, like, Laura, you're so intelligent, but yet why are you so dumb? you know
Hmm.
why aren't you better than her? I was just like, hard. Mm,
Yeah, I can see that, especially when it comes from your parents. It's not a healthy
mm.
dose like
Yeah,
of
from the
things
family.
to handle.
Yeah. And also I had to deal with the loss of very close friends during through the years. So yeah, they were a lot of things. And
Isn't it
like,
right?
mm,
Isn't it crazy that when you were kind of like in your 20s and you're entering this age of losing people, and it's like, oh, like now I know what
mm,
those movies of loss are about. Because when you watch movies of someone losing someone, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's okay. Like it doesn't.
mm,
Well, you cry for a second about it, and then you forget it. But then it happens to
yeah,
you, it's just so, it
yeah.
can become
So just
too much.
so just imagine when you're 12 and 15 and you lose your best
Yeah.
friends. I'm still not over it, and I'm 23, and I'm still not over it.
You know, I think I'm very thankful that you shared this, because I can also like relate to this. I feel that when
Mm,
I came to Japan, it was actually because I'm staying here like for a longer time. It was the first time when I started realizing so many like bad like patterns, like, or like very toxic things that were chasing
Mm-hmm.
me, or that I felt were normal. um
Mm-hmm.
for example, I think like when you stay in Japan by yourself, like, and you have all this time to think about, like, even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have time to think, but you're in the train, you start
Yeah,
thinking because
yeah, yeah.
no one is
Or in
talking.
your bed at night.
Yeah, yeah, no one is talking in the train, right? You're just
Yeah.
like, hey, like, why my childhood was like this, like why people told me
Mm.
this, like, um
Yeah.
what the hell, like, I'm there used to be morning in my life when I would, here in Japan, when I would wake up and my first word would be shit. Like, and I'm like, why am I even saying that? It's like, it's not normal. I mean,
Yeah.
I lived in such a beautiful city, in such a nice place, like, and so many people, but why do I,
Yeah. Why do I have these thoughts?
yeah, why do I wake up in the morning and that's my first thought? And then you start realizing that some of the patterns you learn from the people, who were you were surrounded with, like
Yeah.
from some of your friends, from your family members, and
Mm.
because you were surrounded by them, like, it felt normal. It felt
Yeah.
like it didn't feel strange. It felt like, oh, that's how it should be. Like, oh, like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if your parents told you that your life is hard, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
start thinking, yeah, maybe that should be hard. But then you meet so many
Yeah.
happy people around, and it's like, hey, they don't look like life is hard.
Yeah. I mean, especially in France,
Hmm.
that's just like an example, but in France, when you're in school, since you're a child, you
Hmm.
don't laugh in class, you don't speak in class. If you do, you're punished. You have to respect your teacher very, very much.
Hmm.
All of those rules, like the
Hmm.
teacher is superior, so you're not allowed to like correct them. You're not allowed to talk back to them. I mean, for me, it's very common sense. But when I entered my dance school
Hmm.
and I see like the girls having these relations with their teacher, like they're friends,
Hmm.
and I'm just
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
that
They
is
speak
so
informal to
weird.
them, right? They don't say this
No,
must.
they literally talk
Yeah.
like they're regular friends.
Yeah, yeah,
ねえねえ先生今日帽子かわいいわって They're like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
That just happened today. And
yeah.
like what so my classmates, they're always laughing and
Yeah,
they're always so happy. And I'm like, how do you do this? Are you happy
exactly.
to be in school?
Yeah, that's.
Because
I feel
mm,
like what you're talking about is going to be such a huge stereotype break in Japan, because I feel a lot of people might think, oh, actually, France is famous for being a happy place for many people, like,
yeah.
especially here, right? They have this
Mm,
Parisian like thing,
yeah.
and you expect actually maybe France to be like this, but then I also go to some schools and I see like teachers being super close to their kids, like literally, like what happened a couple of days, like, for me, I was in the bus and there was this teacher who looked very, very strict. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like she's gonna like just like turn around to the kids and say something like "you bastards," blah 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 blah, blah. I don't know, like she looked like this, but
Yeah.
she stood up and she's like, "Hey girls, did you see how cute was one of the volunteers?"
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, they have a very good relationship, like,
Yeah.
with
And
teachers.
when I talk about this with my mom or with my French friends, they just tell me like, "Oh, the your classmates are just being disrespectful."
Okay, wow.
Yeah, in France, it's a sign of disrespect.
Mm,
When actually learning should be fun, right?
yes, exactly.
And yeah, and it's still hard to take this out of my mind. So with my teacher, I always talk to them like Keigo, no grammar mistake. I'm always like, mm, like a teacher. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's very important to have to put the like less distance. And I think Japan is already such a like an isolated country in many ways, because you still see that some people not having good friends here, some people not
Mm,
being able to create, just simply create deep connection, because Um, don't you have you ever felt like that maybe like also one part of your depression was related to the fact that it's such a big city and sometimes it's really like you're surrounded by people but you're alone here and it's so hard to create the deep connections with someone.
Yep.
Have you ever felt it? Yeah.
Yep.
Right, so I think like that's something that um, people don't really talk about
Mm. Like
enough.
not later than 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
I went to the countryside where there were literally no one. It was so calm. And I came back to Tokyo all by myself and I see all these people around me. And I just felt like so oppressed. And I still had no one to talk about it. And it just felt like weird. I had this feeling like, wow, who am I? And that can be very stressful and very sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's why we need more communities here and more
Mm.
supporting.
Also, yeah, one last thing is, I've always been told that Japanese people are two-faced.
Hmm.
Two-faced,
Yeah, yeah.
the real emotion, or
Hmm.
even if they tell you like, "Oh, your hairstyle is cute," they don't mean it, you know. And basically, when I entered the dance school last year, I had this girl with me, and she was just being so childish. And I told her like, "Please, we have to work. You already came like 1 hour late, and you keep talking. I don't have your time. I
Hmm.
have to work. So please, just concentrate." And because of that, she bullied me for a whole year, and she was talking shit about me to everyone. And basically, I didn't know about this. And she just came to me and like, "ねえねえ、ローラ、髪型かわいいな。え、ローラ痩せた?" Those kind of stuff. And I felt like she was just being nice to me. Then
Yeah.
I overheard in the locker room that, "Oh, Laura is such a bitch. Oh, I hate her. She's so fat. She's so ugly." And now because of that experience, I'm so scared. When everyone tells me like, "Ah, Laura, 髪染めた? めっちゃ似合う." I'm like,
Hmm.
thanks. Are you being for real? Like, are do you mean it? I don't know. It's every time someone tells me something, even like Nihongo ga jouzu, I'm like, nah, you're just being nice. You don't mean it. And that makes
Hmm.
this loneliness even bigger.
I can see what you're talking about, like from also like observing some high school students, like um, it's it's always there's always something like you can see by dynamics sometimes looking at the class that there are some girls who are just they might look like they're the happiest people, like, and just
Hmm.
um
Sorry, good.
yeah, talking around, but then you can see just like on the other corner there's a girl that is like so not speaking to everyone, and then turns around that she's bullied, like,
Mm.
and stuff. But I guess that's definitely not something that is like a local problem. It's like everywhere you can,
No, it's worldwide. So
yeah,
that's, yeah, everywhere.
you can see people like that. Exactly.
Mm.
But you know what I have like learned from like interacting with like my, for example, with my aikido friends, and like just like going to
Hmm.
this school is there are so many actually like also really kind people around that if you actually like come to them and start talking and ask, it starts like with figuring their hobbies and like what they like about Japan and what they don't like.
Mm.
There are actually so many people that are really willing to become friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're nice. So once you shift your focus like on nice people, you don't care about these bullies anymore. Because I mean,
Yes. And that's the thing that happened to me. Like, there is a girl in my class. So no one speaks English, right? And she's really interested into like American movies.
hmm,
And when she noticed that I was like non-Asian, she assumed that, I
hmm,
was more like into Western things, like movies. And she tried so hard to talk to me. And because I was bullied by the other girl, I was just like, stepping back, like, please don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And so no one was talking to me. And maybe a few months ago, I tried to go to her,
Yeah.
and now we regularly talk. And she even hugged me the other day. I was like,
Oh,
really? I'm happy.
yeah. That's true. So,
Yeah, there are many sweet people.
right.
Maybe
So
I just had bad luck. That's it.
it's okay. It happens to
It happens
everyone.
to everyone.
Yeah. So, but you can definitely change the dynamics because also like you are like also you're an entertainer, like you dance, you
Mm,
sing, like I think one of the things that you guys are really good at is actually changing the dynamics, like like just shaking
yeah,
it off, right?
exactly.
Which is pretty good. Well, thank you so much like for this conversation, like
Thank you
I
too.
really appreciate your openness about your experiences, and like for the information that you shared. I'm pretty sure that our viewers
Yeah.
are gonna appreciate that as well, because again, so many people are coming to Japan like to pursue their dreams of like being a
Mm,
dancer, or an idol, and vocal. And I think
yeah.
it's very brave of you like to try this adventure, especially
Mm.
as a foreigner. Also follow Laura's YouTube where she's sharing like her amazing videos, like speaking fluent Japanese, which I also admire as well. Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
and for the last, like for the people who are aspiring to come here to Japan, like to study dance and or performing and becoming idols, what would be your like encouraging advice?
Never give up on your dream. And even if you don't achieve it, it's better to live with like not being able to do it than living with the regrets that you never tried. And even if you don't succeed in your dream, you're still going to enjoy it and find a new dream every day.
Especially here
Every
in
day,
Japan.
yeah, it's always a new day. So, yeah, you can only enjoy.
That's a great advice. That's actually what I was thinking about today in a train randomly. Like
Really?
yeah, I was in the train, I was randomly thinking like actually like if you don't you never win and you never lose if you don't try, like
Yeah,
how can you even like if you don't even try, like there's no result at all,
yeah.
nothing.
In
So
France, we have two says, like we have two expressions to say this,
yeah,
actually. Like, you know how a heartbeat goes, like, on the machine at the hospital, like this?
yeah,
It goes like up and downs, because in your life you have up and downs. If you don't,
yeah.
it means you're dead.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And also, every mistakes you make to achieve your dream, like every time you fail, you just take them together, and it's making step for you to go to your success. So don't be afraid of failing.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. That's true. Don't be
like
dead
this one.
in your life. Yeah,
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 don't be dead.
yeah.
Always find things to do.
Ride a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even if you feel at your lowest, you're gonna get back. Don't worry.
Exactly. Well, again, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you very much for having me and let me talk so much.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share, like, comment, and let us know what you think about this episode, what kind of ideas you have. So we always can bring you the best stories about life in Japan. And we're going to see you again on this podcast once I quit Hawaii next week. Maybe I
What's
still
the
stay
next
here. It's nice.
destination?
It's nice. Okay. See you next week. Bye bye.